Hey everyone, I'm Daniel, aka Floppy Penguin, and welcome to my channel. Shout out to Coolwick for making the coolest jerseys on the market. Be sure to get your next bowling jersey from Coolwick.com and use my code FloppyPenguin10 on the screen now for 10% off your next order at Coolwick.com. What's up everyone? What's up everyone? Hello everyone. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I'm Daniel. I'm here in Iowa, Gold Coast Casino. I'm ready to give you guys another vlog. Welcome back everyone to this episode of USBC Open Championship Strategy. So today we are going to be answering the question, should you throw urethane at the Open Championships? Well, that's a complicated answer, and let's dive in. So to start out, we have two of the most iconic urethanes in front of me. We have the good old Purple Hammer and of course the Storm Pitch Black. So the purpose of urethane, let's dive into that first, is to keep your angles straighter in front of you and allow people that have higher rev rates and a little lower ball speed, kind of like myself, to play further right towards the gutter. Now with that said, a urethane ball is a great option for that, but there is a caveat. The caveat is urethane balls carry down oil down the lane. If you want to learn a lot more about urethane and see an in-depth dive into how urethane affects the lanes, be sure to click in the corner of your screen right now for one of my older videos on how to throw urethane effectively. Now with that said, urethane can and will affect your teammates as well. And so you've got to take that into account when throwing urethane. Typically you want to throw it on shorter patterns because it controls the back end, because it uses all of its energy very early on the lane and bleeds out down lane. They are great options for sports shots too, because sports shots can be a little shorter, and whenever they are shorter, it continues on the back end and doesn't make a violent motion like a reactive resin ball might, especially for the higher rev and lower speed players. Now with that said, when would be a good time to throw urethane at nationals? We've seen a couple of people having success throwing urethane from the outside, especially in doubles and singles, from nationals. But the thing is, whenever you see that, you might realize that those people probably have had struggles in the last couple of games if they started with urethane, because the carry down hits, and it's likely going to be a higher volume pattern, or at least the lane surface is so new out there that it appears to play like a higher volume sports shot. And with that said, when it is higher volume, there's more oil that's being carried down the lane, and when that occurs, it causes the back end to completely stop hooking, even for strong reactive resin balls. So when that occurs, you've got to do one of two things. Either take more surface and move further right to combat what's going on the back end of the lane to get the ball to pick up and respond a little sooner, or you can go to something shinier that makes a bit more movement on the back end if you want to combat what's going on in the front part of the lane, because the front part of the lane is getting drier, but the back end is getting oilier because of the carry down. With that said, one strategy that I've been thinking through might be taking two different urethane balls, or similar to urethane balls, and having fresh surface on both of them, starting with one in doubles and then switching to the other at the start of singles. The reason that I say this is because if it is a higher volume pattern, then this will allow me to play a similar area of the lane without having to adjust my feet much and still get me to the pocket. Now I don't know if it will carry, and that's the tough part, especially with urethane. Urethane tends to leave a lot of flat 10s because it hooks so early and doesn't have the same amount of energy that a reactive resin ball would likely have on the back end. So that's the biggest struggle when looking at the carry when throwing urethane, because you're likely to leave more 10 pins if you're right-handed or 7s if you're left, because the ball is burning up its energy before it gets into the roll phase. And if that's occurring, then it makes it a lot easier for the ball to hit very weak and flat and leave those corner pins behind. With that said though, the advantage is whenever you do have a straighter angle to the pocket, especially with a higher rev rate, it does allow for better carry most of the time. And that's where urethane really shines, is it lets you keep that straighter angle, like I said. So is it a good idea to throw urethane? Well, the first thing you should do is communicate with your teammates, your doubles partner, or whoever's on your pair with doubles and singles, and explain to them why you want to throw urethane. Are you a high rev, low speed player that's looking to keep your angles straighter, or are you simply trying to just stretch out the pattern and make it play longer because you want to throw a stronger ball towards the end? Either way, let the other people bowling on your pair know and make sure you work together. Because what can easily happen is if you're not working together and you are throwing urethane but someone else is not throwing urethane and playing a similar part of the lane, you're going to be fighting each other because you'll both be taking oil off of the front end of the lane, but the other person will be eating away the carry down that you're trying to create if you're trying to carry down the pattern and make it play longer, or vice versa. You might be pushing down oil where they're trying to play more of a back end shot. So it can be very difficult to play with each other if you're not communicating about it. This is where the other videos that I've done on creating a team strategy, as you can check out in the corner of your screen now, or doubles and singles strategy that are crucial to this element. And that's how you can answer the question of should I throw urethane at nationals? Now, I can tell you, most years I have thrown urethane at nationals and found success with it. In fact, last year on the team event, I had the front 10, the second game, throwing my Zen U, slow wheeling it just inside of 10 out to about 5 and watching it come on back. And I had that success, but the next game, game 3, it completely went away because the second I tried to move left, I started to leave buckets and 210s because it was not hooking enough. And if I tried to move right, it hooked too much because the burn that we created from the beginning. So game 3 was rough for me last year at team event because my urethane was out of play by then and I didn't really have the best option to go to because I wanted to stay in the same area, but I actually needed to get more left with a shinier ball, such as a Zen or nowadays a Zen 25, that would have helped me clear the front part of the lane and still have enough recovery on the back end. The takeaway from today, the key is to make sure you're communicating with others about your strategy and if you want to try urethane. I can tell you personally, I will be taking at least 1, if not 2, urethanes to nationals this year, especially since I'm driving. And I find it important to have the range of tools in your tool bag whenever you go out to a tournament, especially whenever you don't know what the pattern is. They do allow you to take up to 8 bowling balls at nationals, and I will be taking all 8, 2 of which will be urethane, just making sure that I have those options in case it is necessary, and I do want to move right and keep my angles straighter to the pocket, but I've also got to keep in mind how my teammates and doubles partner wants to play the lane, and also how that I want to play the lane continuing on past the games when I throw urethane. So thank you guys for joining me today. Be sure and subscribe below and share this with a friend that you're bowling nationals with, and leave a comment if you have any questions, or tell me about your experience throwing urethane in the past as well. I know it gets a lot of bad rap on the internet about throwing urethane, especially on things like a house shot.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
With that said, I want to hear from you guys, so comment below, and thanks again for watching this video. Have a great day, God bless, and check out Coolwick. Zach, stop it. Zach, stop it.